Welcome to The Herbal Ire, your podcast on all things holistic health, medical astrology, spirituality, herbalism, and so much more. Presented by your host, Ire Atla, medical astrologist, herbalist, and naturopath. Let's dive right into today's topic, love and light. Welcome back to The Herbal Ire. I am your host, Ire Atla, and I am so glad you are here today. Today's episode is all about why I do what I do and why I am so passionate about helping other individuals with ovaries restore balance to their body and achieve true healing from hormonal issues, PCOS, endometriosis, infertility, and more. Let's listen in now. Hi, everybody. I gave you a brief overview of my story in the last episode. That was geared more toward what led me away from the religion I grew up in and how I found my true path. This episode, I want to dive more into my why for what I do. So, I was 19 years old when I was diagnosed with endometriosis. I started having horribly painful periods. I was passing large blood clots, having hot flashes, breast pain, cramps, acne, severe mood swings, weight gain, and more. At 19, having a hot flash, I thought I was dying. So I did what anyone would in that position. I went to the doctor. And after lots of testing, an invasive surgical procedure, and many expensive visits later, I was informed that I had endometriosis. And I was devastated. Like, my next question after the utter shock wore off was, well, what is the treatment and what can we do to cure this? And that's when the doctor looked at me and told me that one, I would never be cured, there wasn't one. Two, I may never have children due to this. And three, that my only options were to take birth control pills or have a hysterectomy. Even 19-year-old me knew those weren't really great options. I asked about pain control, diet changes, anything I could do besides having another surgery or more pills thrown at me. The only answer I received was I could try some pain pills that he would prescribe me, but I just needed to really accept the pain and learn to deal with it, and the birth control pills may help, but there was no guarantee. With few options and very little hope, I took the prescription for the birth control and the pain pills, and I left. I went ahead and decided to try the birth control pills because at this point I felt kind of desperate and unheard. So I thought, let me see if this helps. So I did. I started them, and after 2 weeks on the birth control pills, my symptoms were worse than they were before. My mood swings were horrific. I had gained 5 pounds. 19-year-old me was very upset and was feeling worse than when I started. So I was already questioning what I was doing. So I called the doctor's office up and I told them. I was informed maybe this pill wasn't the right one for me, and so they prescribed me a new one. So I started that one, and the same thing happened again. Told them again, and again they switched me. So after the third pill did the same thing, and I called again, I was told I just needed to suck it up and wait it out. It could take up to 6 weeks, sometimes up to 6 months for my body to adjust and for these to actually work how they were supposed to. And in the meantime, I just needed to suck it up. So at that point, I decided to stop taking them altogether. If I was going to be miserable either way, at least the symptoms were more manageable without the pills exacerbating everything. So I managed to muddle along until I was 22. When I turned 22, I had a huge change in my symptoms, so I went back to a doctor. This time it was a different one as I had moved to a new city, and so I had some hope again that maybe there would be some better options. It'd been a few years. Things change quickly in the medical field sometimes, and with a new doctor, they might have some new solutions. But this time I got much more testing again, and I was informed in my follow-up visit that my endometriosis had progressed. And then all I got told by the doctor very callously was, well, the only option here is birth control. Oh, and by the way, it's advanced enough you probably will never have children without some sort of intervention. And then he left the room. He left me all alone in the room, in tears, feeling like I had no hope and no options. I didn't even know if I wanted children, but having that choice completely taken away in the matter of one doctor visit and no hope given afterwards was just more than I could handle. So when I left this doctor's office, I decided that I was done trying that way. It wasn't working. They offered me no options. So I started looking for a new way. And this is when I found what I do now. I refuse to accept that the only way was pills and suppression of symptoms. It just innately felt super wrong to me to suppress what my body was saying. There was a reason that symptom was there. And while I maybe didn't speak the language of symptoms yet, I wanted to learn how so I could figure out what my body was saying and give it what it needed instead of just trying to tell it to shut up and push it to the side, right? So in the course of finding a new way, I found a different doctor who was supposed to be an expert in endometriosis and pain. As part of my journey to find a new way, I went to see him. His only solution was to cut all of the nerve endings leading to my uterus. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like a solution. That just sounds again like more suppression, and then it suppresses other things as well. So he said he had great success with this procedure. His patients had great relief from the pain. And when I asked him if it interfered with feelings during sex, because if you're cutting all the nerve endings to that area, that might mean that the sensations and pleasurable feelings of sex go with it. He told me it didn't matter. If I wanted pain relief, that was the way I could get it. And I was like, nope. I fucked right out of his office. I was like, nope, I am done. So I decided that, okay, I'm done with the modern medicine. It's not working. So I ended up down the alternative medicine path. And I started massage therapy regularly. I went to a chiropractor. I did acupuncture. I saw a naturopath. I took herbs, supplements. I made huge diet and lifestyle changes. And after years of doing that at 25, I became pregnant with zero interventions. Not a single IVF or fertility doctor, hormones, nothing. Absolutely, my body all by itself got pregnant. I managed that pregnancy fairly okay. And the baby, I did have some pretty severe postpartum depression afterwards, or postnatal depression. And I managed that also with some herbs and supplements. I had a really good midwife who was absolutely amazing, who took really good care of all that. And when I was 32 years old, then my endometriosis advanced again. Um, and at this point, I did end up opting for a hysterectomy. I don't recommend this for most people. It was not a fun procedure, and it was not a fun recovery at all. And to be honest, a hysterectomy is actually not even a cure for endometriosis. It's just another one of these suppression of symptoms management tool that they have. So even after all that, I was still not feeling 100%. And that led me to functional nutrition, medical astrology, and that is when I truly healed my body using nutrition, herbs, lifestyle, and spiritual transformations. Knowing with my natal chart what my body was actually doing and going through and ways to actually like pinpoint what was going on, and that then gave me a starting point for what I could treat it with, made a huge difference. I went from kind of muddling around in the dark to having a very super specific protocol that I could follow, and it's literally been great ever since. Every once in a while, I have one working ovary that's left. The other one is still in my body, but it's decided that it doesn't want to do anything anymore, which is fine. But the other one gets a little irritated sometimes. So every once in a while, I do still have some pain during ovulation, but I have discovered that I can meditate that away most times. So that's not even an issue for me anymore. And honestly, the reason I'm getting that usually is because I have slacked on my nutrition, and then I have a resurgence of a symptom because my body is not getting the proper nutrition, protein, carbs, fats, vitamins, and minerals that it needs to not produce that symptom. And it's telling me, once again, hey, something's wrong. Listen up. You're not eating correctly, and we need to fix that. And then I go back and I put myself back up to where I know I should be, and everything gets better again. Because I have given myself skills, y'all. So, the biggest thing I learned is that when I was fighting against my body's innate ability to heal and suppressing symptoms instead of fixing the root cause, and I had poor nutrition, it led me to be sicker than ever and have multiple surgeries I wouldn't have had to have otherwise. I really wish someone would have told me about alternative healthcare and medical astrology years before I discovered them. And since I don't want anyone else to feel hopeless, alone, miserable, exhausted mentally and emotionally, and resigned to living life at a less than optimal health level, I now use medical astrology to help other individuals with ovaries transform their lives as well. So, I now have 4 beautiful children, 1 bio, 3 bonus children. And I'm telling you, bonus children are the best because you don't have to give birth to them, but they add amazing joy to your life. So if children is what you want, bonus children are a fabulous way to get them. A loving partner. I probably have way too many animals in my life. I told you about some of those in the first episode, but we have a lot. And I know what it was like to be hopeless, to feel like there was no answers and that I have to live like this forever, that you are trapped in a defective body with no way to escape. And if that sounds like you, know there is another path. There is one where you are listened to, you are given options, you are given hope, and you can achieve true healing. Your body is not a battlefield, and you do not have to spend every day fighting it. You can have a peaceful and happy life. I am a testament to that, as are so many of my clients. I would be honored to show you how. So if you continue listening to this podcast, there will be steps in here that you can take today, starting that day you listen to the podcast, that can bring that peace in your life as well and help you achieve true health. And you no longer have to fight your body every day. If that sounds like something you would love to have in your life, keep listening because there's going to be a lot of valuable information coming your way. Until next time, love and light. That's it for another great episode of The Herbal Ayr. Tune in next week for more valuable content with your host, Ayr Atla.